Welcome to the Leadership Exchange. Today I am joined by Tiku Patel from Blue Motor Finance. Tiku is the Chief Exec and has been in role since January 2019. Tiku's background is in leadership across financial institutions for over 20 years, and in now being at the helm of Blue Motor Finance. He's leading a fintech which was started up actually only a few years back in 2015. PE owned. It was voted the fastest growing company in Europe by the Financial Times in 2019. And then following that in 2020, the fastest growing financial services company. So for a short history of just, well, 5-6 years now, a lot of accolade. Welcome, Tiku. Delighted you could join me today.
Thanks, Maggie. Yeah, we just had our sixth year birthday not so long ago.
Oh, fantastic. Were you able to celebrate?
We did something. This was actually pre-lockdown, so we did do something. We're pretty good at celebrations in Blue.
That's good. That's good. And I can see you're on brand today.
Yeah.
Shirt. It was fantastic.
Yeah.
So we're here to have a chat about this year, 2020, which we're now closing almost as we have this conversation, to look back and to understand, you know, what has this meant for you and your leadership as a chief executive during this time. And I'm curious, just to start with, in terms of what you've realized through this year, you know, as we close, what are the new realizations for you as a leader through this extraordinary time?
Yeah, I mean, it has been extraordinary times, and I think you asked Maggie, you know, both personally and professionally, you know, what is it that I've realized, and maybe I should talk a little bit about personally first. You know, the first lockdown, you know, since the end of March was, you know, I think 4 or 5 months, certainly that period of time. And I personally found that time very rewarding indeed. So through lockdown, I've got 3 grown-up daughters. 2 of them stayed with us through lockdown. So me, my wife, 2 daughters, and their boyfriends. So there were 6 of us here. So actually, it didn't feel a lonely time at all. It felt quite a busy time. And, you know, my normal working life up until then, you know, has been about, you know, leaving home at 5:30 a.m., you know, generally getting home at 7:30 p.m. unless I've got an evening appointment, in which case it's later, you know, eating leftovers, being basically absent from home life during the week. And that all changed. That all changed to, you know, one of the things I did during that lockdown period, or we did, was we had dinner with the family every single night. And basically, you know, I was just far more present, you know, for them and with them. And that was fantastic. Although I worked hard and, you know, clearly put a lot in, I won back all my travel time. I probably saved some inefficient time too. And I reinvested some of that in my family life. And that was great. I also, you know, did some other things. I mean, an example is that I really upped my reading. So this meant, you know, not only business related and workbooks, but you know, fiction. I was never really a big fiction reader, but I started reading some fiction books, which I really enjoyed, and listening to podcasts in particular as well, which I'm really enjoying. And I've got some great podcasts that I really enjoy. So I found all of that rewarding. So I thought this whole experience for me personally was extremely rewarding. It's actually interesting to contrast it with lockdown 2, where it's just me and my wife at home, and that's been harder in the winter. And, you know, after 3 days, I looked at my wife and I said, we've got a month of this together. That was interesting. In terms of the business, I think there have been 2 significant benefits. First is, you know, the ability of the team to coalesce around a crisis. It really brought us closer together, and it was a crisis right at the start. You know, all our dealerships shut down, so we provide used car finance through dealers to consumers. All our dealerships shut down. There was no business. So it brought us really far closer together. I mean, I was a relatively new CEO, you know, a year into post, and it helped me in developing, my relationship with them. And we had daily calls to start with to address all the issues that we needed to deal with. So dealing with, no new business, dealing with customers who were, we'd already got on the books that were clearly facing challenging times, dealing with the ability of us to work from home, all those sorts of things. And then the second thing, which is coming about now, is actually the opportunity to reset the business, to review the strategy of our business and reconfirm what it is that we believe in and what we want to do, and really drive home, our purpose, our mission, and our beliefs in the business. The business has grown so rapidly and so, been working so quickly that it hadn't had a chance to just sit back and reflect. And I think this is a great opportunity for us to do that. And I think we're really benefiting from that. So we're reconfirming some parts of what was our strategy, pivoting some other elements for the world that we think we're going to face in the future. And this has been a great activity for the team and indeed the whole business, because we're trying to engage the whole business in this. We're not through it all yet, but we're getting there. So I think, both from a personal point and a business point, there's been some really big benefits in this. Although obviously there've been some challenges too.
That's fantastic to hear. That's brilliant. And do you think without this time that you would have been as bold or as clear in setting your strategy for the future as you are clearly being now? I mean, I know you, Tiku. I mean, I know nothing holds you back from being really creative and bold as a leader anyway. But I think there's been something about this time which has provoked all of us to really sort of cut through in our thinking in some way. And I'm just curious, as you describe shaping up the future.
I think, I think, when I joined the business was very successful and doing really, really well. And we had a plan, and there was no need to challenge that plan, or we just need to carry on doing what we were doing. And what this crisis has done is reset us completely. I mean, we were originating, we had record after record after record, and I guess that's shown by our growth. But we were on target for something like £650 million worth of originations in 2020, in the first couple of months, which is just a massive number. And they went to zero. When the lockdown hit, the market went to zero. And, we're a relatively small business funded externally. The funding markets collapsed. So the business had to reset, had to review. We had to reconsider our whole business model in the light of what had happened. The stability that the market had had for, almost 10 years. The last crisis was 2008, more than 10 years, was no longer here. So crises, change are always opportunities. This was our opportunity to reset, reconfirm, and rethink our model, and we have made some changes. So in the future world, we can't have as leveraged a business model as we did have. And PE models are quite leveraged. By necessity, it's all about earning return on equity. But going forward, in this environment, our leverage can't be as high, and that shaped the way that we're looking to finance the business that we write. So, and that's just one example of a number of changes that we're going to have to put in place as a result of the market changes that we're seeing.
But it sounds like you and your team have fully grasped it and are on it and all over it. It's great.
Yeah, we're definitely on it and all over it. We'll see what happens.
So in terms of what's been lost this year, I mean, clearly a lot of benefits for you personally with your family, but also for the business. What's been lost or is perhaps out of our awareness in that fierce focus that every leader, every business has had to bring, thinking about survival and the future? What's out of our awareness at the moment that we need to be paying attention to, or has been lost, perhaps lost forever?
Yeah, I don't know about lost forever, but you know, there are some things that I've missed and some things that I think are much more difficult now. And we've been working from home for so long now, it feels, you know, 7, 8 months broadly. I mean, I did start going back 1 or 2 days a week for a while, but now with the second lockdown, we're back at home again. You know, that ability to just kick something around, that ability to problem solve in a wider group, that ability to just go past someone's desk and just have a conversation and just understand what's going on. That is well, it's impossible now. You have to positively make an effort. You have to positively phone someone. You know, you have to disturb them. Whereas before it was just so much easier. So as a consequence, I think you lose a feeling of the business. I don't know if that makes sense. You know, a feeling of what's really going on, of the problems that are happening, of the little things that are going on in the business. And the bigger challenge is, I wonder whether we are getting as much commonality and understanding of what we're trying to do as a team, as much alignment as a team, because you're doing it, you know, down video calls.
Yeah.
Video calls of a dozen people are hard. Yeah, you don't want to be sat there for 3 hours. So, you know, you do it for a shorter period of time, but then do you get everyone's full engagement? So I think that I think over the longer term, you know, we will lose it. In a short term, it's probably not a problem, but over the longer term, if this continues, that alignment, which is crucial, that feel and understanding of what's going on, the communication of what's happening in the business, is something I'm desperate not to lose. And I worry about that a little bit.
It's a great point you make, actually. It makes me think that it's going to be really vital to have fabulous listening mechanisms into an organization in this new way of working in the world. Because as you say, there's just not that informality where you can sort of feel it day to day and just pick up the vibe of what's going on through casual chat. And just feeling how people are. What's it like to be around here? That's trickier.
Yeah. I mean, no doubt, and we were talking about it just earlier, there's no doubt that the model of working is changing. We're not going to have everybody in the office 5 days a week. That's not going to happen, or 7 days a week. You know, it's just not going to happen going forward. So we need to work out our solutions to collaboration, our solutions to, you know, understanding what's going on. And, you know, I've asked our tech team to, you know, have a look at what are the technology solutions to this. Yeah, one of the things I really believe in, you know, is there is a solution out there to any problem. I actually think our limitations are not the technology anymore. Our limitations are our imaginations in using the technology, because, yeah, technically there's so many wonderful things out there. So, and that's one of the benefits of being in a relatively small company, is that, you know, we can try stuff. So hopefully we'll come up with some good ideas that will enable whatever our model of way of working in the future happens to be, that we can maintain that collaboration, maintain those insights into the business that we so crave.
I love that statement about our limitations are not the technology. Our limitations are our imaginations of how to use the technology.
I'm wowed all the time by what I see people using various bits of technology for.
Yeah, that's great. Thank you. In terms of what you're going to preserve going forward, you know, you said, you know, the ways of working, you're not going to be going back to it the way that it was, for example, but what specifically are you going to preserve from this time that's, you know, perhaps being provoked, if you like, by the gift of this time, given all the benefits you were talking about earlier? What are you going to be preserving, or what must organizations preserve?
So, you know, in many ways we're lucky. I mean, two big things that we already had in the business that have enabled us to, you know, to continue to work and flourish, really, you know, as an organization. I know we've been hit hard, you know, by market circumstances and funding circumstances, but as an organization, we've dealt with it really quite well. And there's two particular reasons why I think we've done that well. First is our technology. You know, we used, you know, flexible open systems, and that's enabled us to really switch quickly from different working environments. I mean, within a week, I mean, don't forget we're FCA regulated. There's all sorts of issues around data protection and customer privacy and all these sorts of things. But we were within a week able to shift the entire workforce of Blue to working from home, from the office. And two reasons for that. One is our systems enabled us to do it. But I have to say the second thing that's really helped us through this crisis is the attitude and culture in our team. And both of those things are investments over a long period of time. So our team had to buy into this. They had to want to adapt to working from home. And actually, as we switched from not originating to looking after existing customers for a period of time, we needed people's roles to change. And we had to retrain a significant number of our team to help with customer service calls. And the team were just fantastic in their approach and their attitude to this. So I think those two things are the openness and flexibility of our systems and maintaining the culture and the engagement that Blue employees have with Blue are two vital things. And I mean, that second thing, I've been really cognizant of that through the crisis. So whilst we did use the furlough scheme to start with, after a period of time, we decided that we were going to stop. So we were 250 people. We furloughed 100 people. But at the end of August, we decided we were going to stop people being on furlough. I mean, they've been on furlough for several months. Okay. And we decided to make a decision. We either have people back working full time or we make a decision about the role. And sadly, we had to make 50 roles redundant, but the other 50 were back in the office and they're working diligently on all the challenges that we have. And we're going to stick to our people working, and we intend to grow the business back. And we furloughed them on full pay and all those sorts of things. And we just thought they were really important messages to send to our staff, because without them we're nothing, and they've been so helpful to us.
You mentioned about retraining there for different jobs that were required sort of in the emergency, as it were, and several organisations have been in that position of retraining a number of staff to deal with where suddenly the demand actually was. And I was reflecting the other day myself that opportunities to learn and grow through this time in that way have been tremendous. Opportunities that perhaps wouldn't have come automatically, certainly to the extent that many have experienced them. And although it's hard learning sometimes new skills, something you didn't think you were particularly suited for, the actual opportunity for that learning and growth is so valued. When you do, you talked about culture. When you look at the top 100 companies to work for, opportunities to learn and grow is always a key element of that.
Absolutely.
Brilliant that you've been able to provide that at Blue, and people have expanded their skill set during this time. Many people, as well as you say, sadly, many people equally finding themselves out of work.
No, I agree, Maggie. But really, even more brilliant is that people were prepared to do this.
Yeah.
We couldn't have hoped for a better reaction from our team.
That's brilliant. So looking to the future, Tiku, how has this time, I mean, as you say, you're first time chief executive, you came in, you've got a year under your belt, and then this all hit. How has this period forever shaped or changed or informed your leadership for the future?
Yeah, I've held CEO roles before, but not in a small business like Blue, a small, fast-growing fintech like Blue. My experience had all been in big businesses with lots of support teams and what have you. So this was different. I think, we're always on a journey, all of us, all the time, and that's the way I think of it. I think that I personally have been on a journey myself for all my career. I think, what I'm trying to do is I think I'm trying to be, far more open-minded about things. Generally a kind of like kinder, more sympathetic person as a leader. I'm trying hard to make things work that fit my team, my people, the people in blue, our customers and dealers. I think partnership has become far more important, and that's what this is about. And you do that through engaging and trying to make the relationships work. Working harder to make those relationships work better. So I think that's become more important to me through this period. You can, whether it's your team, your staff, your the banks that we deal with, or your customers and dealers, whoever it may be, what this crisis has shown, it's shown up who stands with you and who doesn't. And that's certainly something I was trying to do more of as I was coming into the role anyway, and it's just emphasized it even more. So part of that is listening more, part of that is giving more, and just being more patient. You know me, I'm not generally the most patient of people. I always want to get on and do stuff, but that patience is something that I'm trying to have a bit more of. I think if I can do that, then I can hopefully help bring Blue a bit more success in the environment we're going to face.
Well, talking of patience, I'm not going to hold you any longer, but I just want to say thank you. Thank you so much for joining me in conversation today, Tiku. It's a great pleasure to chat with you and to hear how well Blue is emerging from this after a very tough time for you all. But it sounds like you've got a great team who have really pulled together through this time, and I applaud you. Thank you.
Thanks a lot, Maggie. Thanks for all your help. Cheers.
Thank you for joining the Leadership Exchange today. If you'd like to contribute, offering your insights through this time, then please do put a comment below or contact me directly. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.